Hi everybody. You probably thought I forgot about this, but I didn't. So it's going to be part 6, and I'm going to show you how to build this door finally. And it's going to be in a series of still photographs that I'll put voiceover over, because if I tried to do it and speak live, the video would probably be for mature audiences only. So you probably wouldn't want to watch it with any kids around, because stuff is really tiny, as you know. So let's get started. Okay, so we had to box in the opening. I went ahead and painted the stuff silver, but I had to touch it up several times, so it really isn't that important. What I used was this 291 angle. I think that was the smallest angle I could find. And in order to get it to fit in there, I had to trim the top and the bottom. As you can see, this piece here at the bottom, had to trim it to get it in there. Now, I could have trying to go fancy and do a 45-degree angle, but I just didn't think it was necessary. So went ahead and thought it looked okay, sort of squared off like this. Of course, that bottom is the threshold. So after that, I took a T-sheet train group door and I laid it there and I got it centered, and I figured out where to glue in the uprights. So I'm going to put a picture next of what I'm trying to duplicate here. So I'll show the prototype picture, the way it looks today. And what I used there was this 8202 HO scale 2x2. This is tiny stuff. And that magnetic jig really came in handy. This is how it looks today. It has a metal frame all the way around it. Then it has 2 vertical uprights on each side of the door and a horizontal piece across the top of the door, and then the bar in the back. So that's what I'm trying to duplicate as close as I can. So like I said, that magnetic jig is a big help. I've already glued the 2 uprights in. Now I'm gluing the horizontal piece that goes across the door at this point. Again, this stuff is really tiny, cut and fit. Sorry for the upside down picture, but after this was done, I painted it, and I just wanted to see if I really needed to build the door inside it, or if this was going to look good enough. I decided I needed to build the door inside it. So this was actually pretty easy, other than just cutting the pieces to fit, because I glued them in just following the pieces already there. And the good thing about having 2 separate pieces is there's a seam, so it looks like it's actually a door. It's not like one just wide piece. So then I had to add the glass, and this was pretty much of a pain, because I did get it on my second try. You know, Boomer always says to make it proud, cut it a little bit long, because you can always cut it off. That's what I did, because there's no really edge. I mean, if it's wrong, it's going to show. If you got an edge somewhere, it's going to show. So just take your time, get an exact fit, and it ended up pretty good. So the last thing I had to do was add the little push bar from the inside. Of course, you had to paint it first. It was just a real tiny little piece of rod, and it's just glued right onto the glass. And I used canopy glue for all this, because canopy glue dries clear, and you can't even tell it. You can't use super glue for this stuff, because it'll cloud the acetate. Canopy glue is really what you want. And this is the finished product. What I probably should have done was maybe hit it with some dull coat, or something flat before I put the glass in. I can use a micro brush, and I'll probably try to tone it down a little bit so it's not so shiny. It's a little bit oversized, but you're not going to get much better than N-scale, I don't think. So I'm pretty happy with it. So let me clarify one thing. I use the plastic cement for everything, to put the frame and everything together. The only time I switched to the canopy glue is when I started messing with the acetate. The canopy glue takes a long time to set, so that I use the plastic weld, whatever it's called, in the orange bottle to put the whole thing together. So obviously I've still got a lot more work to do on the building. I have put glass in the windows. The roof is not glued in. I have to figure out what I'm going to do, but it is cut to fit. It's painted correctly now. Now the reason why this door here is hanging up in the air, if you remember, I have my really thick sidewalks, so it's going to go on the layout something like that. so the door will actually be sidewalk level. And I do need to extend the sidewalk. That's probably going to be our next project, up to the front door, and it actually goes down the front too a little bit to that other door. So I'll be working on that over the next couple days. So I added this door and this window on this wall, and there's two windows up there. Because remember, I couldn't see these two. Google Street View doesn't have anything. There's actually a house sits here, so I couldn't really see what was there, but it made sense to me to have a door back there. What didn't make sense for the door to be way up in the air like that, because what I did is I put it the same level as the rest of them. So I'm gonna have to build a little porch there or something, a little stoop, steps to come down from there. And it will be visible because this is the front of the layout. The other little building won't come back that far. Matter of fact, it'll come back probably to about where that window is, and it'll be right here, a little brick building. So I need to figure out what to do on the roof, the details. Again, it's not glued in yet. I need to get the signs on it, do some weathering, need to build that sidewalk up there. So I'm going to end my discussion on Western Auto here. I'm going to combine this, since it's sort of a short video, with a layout update of what I'm doing over here and what I've done there. And also I finished my road striping today and put a little old billboard up for Jim Cola. Added so I've got a junkyard dog in there. Had some tires and barrels and some other details in there. So just added some details here and there. Over here, just put a tree in with the picnic table. It would be a good place for Jawtooth to get out of the sun if he's ever in Oak Hill rail fanning. Of course, in 1980, he was probably about, I don't know, 4 years old or something. So I don't think he's going to be there. There weren't very many trains wasn't very much live action, put it that way. I don't know if he'd be rail fanning in Oak Hill. But over here, let me show you what I did here in another video, how I added the static grass and everything. Okay, let me take you along on an experiment, something I'm trying. So built these houses to go behind the business district in Oak Hill here, post office, a couple other businesses. And I want to put static grass down, 2 millimeter, like it's a lawn. That's as small as you can get in scale, so I'm going to try it. What I did was I positioned where the houses were, and then I took some Elmer's school glue and I lightly glued them down. After I glued them down, then I actually laid out where the driveways and sidewalks would be. This is going to have a gravel driveway over here. So I laid out where the sidewalks were, and I scribed them, glued them all down, put a base coat of paint on them. After they were in place, I cut out a footprint of the building in like cereal box cardboard and lightly glued them down. So now when I put the static grass on, I'm hoping that I can just peel these up, pop the buildings down, and I'll have a perfect outline of where the buildings would be. Don't know, I've never tried it before. These are just like Elmer's school glue, water-based. They'll come up really easy. I just have to pop them off. You can see I cut the driveways in here, like from the curb. I cut those in. I'll have to repaint that. And I've just got the paper towels over there to keep from getting static grass all over the place. And then I'll put since it's around the edge of the layout, I'm going to drop static grass over the floor if I'm not careful. So I'm going to put something to sort of catch most of the static grass, keep it from hitting the floor anyhow. So I'll let you know if this works. I don't know if it's going to or not, but I just wanted to not cover the whole thing with static grass and have to scrape it off, where the buildings went, and then I would have to patch those holes and everything. So we'll see. So this is how it came out. Like I said, these things came off really easy. I did take an X-Acto knife. I go around the border, so I didn't pull up any static grass. Didn't did this intentionally. I'm going to put a gravel driveway here, but I wanted to have some grass maybe poking through, because I used to have a house with a gravel driveway, and I could have bare patches in the yard and sow grass seed, and the best place I could grow grass was in the gravel driveway. It's very frustrating. Worked out pretty well. Yeah, like I said, now I don't have a lot of static grass to cut and things like that. I'm going to put a fence between the two houses. Maybe a tree, picnic table. I've got a picnic table here. Picnic table in the backyard. You know, I don't know what I'm going to do to this. I probably will put some kind of shrubs or something like in front of the house. I'm pretty happy with the way this turned out. I used a blend of 2mm static grass, had dark green, medium green, and just a hint of like tan or dead grass, I don't know what you call it, burnt grass in there too, just to give it a little bit of flavor. Saturday night, I'm going to post this Sunday morning. Got a little bit more done. I've got the stoops there for the doors. I don't know if I'll put a railing there or not. Still sits up a little high. I'm sort of surprised that's like it. I think the building maybe is sitting up a little bit on this stuff, so I might have to scrape some of that off. I've got the sidewalk around the front, and it was sort of a weird shape. I used Google Earth to figure out how it's supposed to be. I'm building a concrete porch for this, actually a piece of balsa wood, and I'm facing with that concrete block stuff, so and I'll have to put steps up to it and a railing. So that's about it for now. I'm working on some of the Woodland Scenics picket fence for the houses. Sort of kicking my butt a little bit because I get impatient. I should put a piece in, glue it in, let it dry, put the next piece in. But as you try to put them all in before it's dry, and they're flopping around, and you're trying to get them to line up and everything. So I was trying to rush it to get it on this video, so that'll just have to be another time. I'm just gonna back off, put one piece in, let it dry, and work at it methodically like that. But anyhow, hope you enjoyed this update, and I have another operations series starting for you next Saturday. Everybody stay safe. But wait, there's more. Sometimes there is. He says there always is, but I really enjoy John Chu's videos. He has a lot of fun. So I got the fence pretty close. I'm not going to show you the end view, but put it this way. I built the fence around my backyard, put a string line down, and it's a lot straighter than this fence is. But I just wish they made the sections longer. But it looks okay. I mean, it really looks okay. So I've got some shrubs, mulching some shrubs in the front. I got the TV antenna on, picnic table and a tree in the back. Put a couple trees in that yard, and I've got some shrubs in front of that house too. So this is pretty much done. I do have some gold medal model bicycles. And the Western auto stores that I remember sold bicycles. So actually I'm going to have a bike stand out there with some new bicycles for sale, but I thought I also might like put a bicycle, lean it against the garage or something like that. You know, bicycle somewhere, lean against the pizza place. And by the way, there's a gate here. I'm going to do something with that dumpster because I don't think those guys would like a dumpster that close to their house. But you notice the gate there? It's because the owner of the pizza place lives here. So he put that gate in. So I couldn't talk my buddy Fran into relocating to Oak Hill. So I guess he's franchised this pizza place. It's still Fran T's Pizza, but he doesn't actually run it, even though there is a nice basement in this house for a model railroad. But he's missing out. He's never going to know what it's like to live in Oak Hill. All right. Everybody stay safe.